Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And once again, I would like to welcome you to SaffronSACAP's voiceover talk show. My name is Giz Ojiako, and I am the Director for Programs for SaffronSACAP. Today, we have a very, very special voiceover talk show. I'm very excited because for those of you who know me, you know I love networking. I love meeting people. I'm a people person. So today we have, I'm going to call them our new family because they have really become our new family. Yeah, but before I introduce them, I would want us to know the Saffron family that we have on board today. So alongside me today, I have my boss, and I'm going to ask her to unmute herself and introduce herself. Go ahead, Yem.
Oh, wow. We're back again and we're excited to be here this evening. So it's a good evening to everyone in the UK, and I also think some parts of Africa, Nigeria. Good morning in some parts of the world, and good afternoon somewhere else. And it's probably midnight somewhere else as well. That's how great God is. So we are grateful to be here at this time. We are grateful for all our guests. We are grateful for the gift of life. And we just want to welcome everyone who's here, everyone who is taking time to come on the Zoom and who will still join us through this evening, and also our Facebook family. Wow, wow, wow. As always, you have me as your host on Facebook. And please say hello. Please like our pages, like some comments, reply, leave your comments. Let's get very interactive. It's going to be a very, very exciting day. And I just wish everyone a fabulous time. So thank you, Giz. Over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yemi. And as we go on, the rest of our colleagues, we will definitely be introducing them as they join the show tonight. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who joined us live last week as we celebrated our 1 year. There is a saying, the show must go on. And that was regardless of any hang-ups, any technical hitches. We just had to plod on, and plod on we did. But, you know, we've always said without you guys, there would be no voiceover talk show. So we are very humbled and very, very happy that you've been with us along this 1 year journey. And first of all, we give thanks to the Almighty because we started this journey out during COVID, and we've been able to move forward, and we are still here. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all our Saffron viewers, all our Facebook family. We say thank you. And you know, here's to another 1 year and beyond. And we hope you'll still be with us. But most importantly, we hope that as we come on every week and tackle the challenges and the issues within our communities, that we're not just talking, but that we're actually reaching the outcomes you all want to see. And as we always say, if we are not, please, please, please fill out our forms, our inquiry forms, and let us know. So thank you once again, everybody. And back to tonight's show. We have in our midst 3 members of, I call them an awesome group. I mean, I've been on their page, and you know, the fire that burns on that page is quite, it's quite exciting. They are called 4Gs, Kings and Queens. 4Gs, Kings and Queens. And that the 4Gs, it stands for something, but I am not going to tell you. I'm going to be handing over shortly to I'm going to, when I say the head of that group, I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. But the reason I call her that is because, you know, she's the most vocal person on that group. She keeps all of us in check, but she's an amazing, very inspirational person. Along with her team, who we were blessed to have met one of them the other day, we had a meeting with, but I've also been able to interact with that with the group. So without much ado, just bear with me. I'm getting some feedback here. Yeah. Without much ado, I'm going to ask Omoti to please unmute yourself and introduce your fabulous family.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Queen Omoti of 4G Kings and Queen from Dublin, Ireland. I work within administration setting, and we are called 4G Kings and Queen. We are a non-government charity and social group with members worldwide, and we honor all faith, either Islam or Christianity. And I'm going to tell you about our 4G, letter G. Like I told you, the first G stands for God, because in whatever we do in life, we put God first. That is why we're all about God. And we connect to discuss our goals in life. That is the reason for our second G. What are your goals in life, and what are your aspirations? What are your plans in life? So that is why our second G is all about your goals in life. So by bringing speakers among us, you don't need to be a professional speaker. We want to encourage one another within the group to be confident, to build a self-esteem. So that is why we pick people from the group member to speak to us through motivational topic. So like I told you, we build our self-esteem and tap knowledge information that steer us into action, to encourage us to act. So that is the reason for our second G. And our third G stands for grow. Once you realize your goal, we encourage our members to network, to collaborate with friends and Facebook group of positive mindset. That was how I met my sisters on this platform, because I was looking for one information, and I connected with somebody. She asked me to get in touch with them, which I did. And when I joined them, I love what I've seen, and I was like, I can't keep it to myself. I need to bring it to my members to learn from them, and we're really learning. Thank you. You are doing a great job. So that is the second, the third part of our G, that is grow. So we encourage them to network and collaborate with people. And the fourth G is called glow. You know, in life, in the midst of finding a living, we forget to look after our physical and mental health. So we remind our members to be mindful of their mental health as well. In summary, we help the less privileged people in Africa, such as widow, orphan, elderly, and unemployed undergraduate in Nigeria. Because for me, I don't like it. It saddens me. It saddens my heart when I see unemployed undergraduate in Nigeria, no work. So I tend to like look for opportunity for them, look for how to better their lot, you know, even to have multiple stream of income. I encourage them to learn handiwork. You understand? So in whatever little way we can help them, we help them both morally and financially. And also, once I see a link for scholarship in overseas, I send it to them as well. So those are 4G. The first one, God. The second one, go. The third one, grow. And the Fourth one, glow physically and mentally. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. I don't even know where to start, because that sounds like just 4Gs. The first one you said was God.
Yeah.
The second one, goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
And under the third one, you said to grow, to collaborate. But I want to take you back to under the second one, you talked about self-esteem building and tapping knowledge and information, encouraging people to act.
Yeah.
And I tell you what connects me to you, Omoti, is your self-esteem is off the chain. It's just
Thank
so
you.
up there, and I love it. And that is what we need in the community, not to be, it's not about being, it's not just about showing off, but it's about showing up, and showing up for the people. And then you said to grow, to network, and to collaborate. And you're just speaking Saffron's language, because Saffron, we have a saying that says #together we can. That is our mantra. No man is an island. And so this is why, calling, and I forgot to add, and I think it's very important we put it out there. 4G's Kings and Queens are actually based in Ireland. Is that right?
Yes, we are based in Ireland.
Beautiful. So guys, Saffron, we've crossed the waters, we've crossed the waters. And like we said, no man is an island. We get viewers from all over. So this is just to say, thank you, not just to yourself, but we want to say thank you to your team, because I'm seeing people on here and I know they are all the way from the 4Gs, Kings and Queens. I'm seeing a lot of queens. I haven't seen a king yet. I'm hoping that a king is going to pop up for me. But to all the queens, Wura, Miyanda, Fumilayo, Opeyemi, Josephine, on behalf of Saffron, on behalf of my boss, Opeyemi too. I've got 2 Opeyemis in tune in the night. That's amazing. I just want to say to you ladies, good evening. Welcome to Saffron's family. Good evening.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Once you come to Saffron, you become part of the family. We don't let you go. Just putting it out there.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks a lot. And we hope to hear a lot from all of you this evening. It's an open forum. And what today is a clarion call to all the communities in Ireland. We want to hear from you. We want to hear the social issues. And let's have this conversation. What we do ask is just for confidentiality, if there are any stories which were about you personally, if you would generalize those stories rather than put your names out there, for the mere fact that we are obviously live. So we wouldn't want that breach of confidentiality. But at the same time, please feel free to tell your stories. Please feel free to share your situations, whatever, on a generic stage. And Fumilayo, I'm going to ask if you can unmute yourself, please, and introduce yourself, because we met with you a couple of days ago. So it would be amazing if you could just take the platform and give us a bit of background of yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
My name is Fumilayo. I'm a community and youth worker. I do empowerment programs, though I work with people with mental disability. I've been doing this community work for like 10 years now in Ireland. So what I do basically is encouraging ethnic minority group to participate in the affair of the community. We support them, we advocate for them, we help them to develop their skills. We do all sorts of programs that encourage people to be included in the community. And when Omotola told me about your group, I was so excited to meet you so that we can share knowledge together. I thank you for inviting us. And as time goes on, I'll get to know you better, you know me better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Fumilayo. So at this juncture, I'm going to hand over to you, Yemi. Yes, I am. I'm going to hand over to you. And that's just basically for you to give us a brief overview of the nature of why is Saffron very interested in going over the waters to Ireland. There is a reason for this particular voiceover talk show. So over to you, yeah.
Okay. Like you said, we're really so excited to be having this voiceover for the fact that yes, we're going over the waters, but also because we have a massive interest in finding outcomes to social issues, social problems that we have within our communities. We can't deny the fact that this is so. And it's not just the Black African community, please. It's communities world over. We all have our peculiar social issues that we must address. And like we say, if you don't address it, one day it will be staring you in the face and it might not be on the good side. So we started this discussion with Omoti and her her group. I remember that she did put out a post on the group to ask people listen to the voice of the community and find out what those issues were. We have had this discussion and we did list out what the issues were within the communities. That is one of the reasons why we've engaged, because Saffron is global, obviously, because we do have our arms in Nigeria working on safeguarding, but also safeguarding in the UK. And we can't sit back and continue to see, things happen that we're not happy about, and many times we feel very helpless. But really, there is help, and it's a matter of speaking out, addressing the issues, and collectively, I tell you, we will find the answers and outcomes to these issues. So this is the first of I know we have 2 weeks ahead, and what comes out in the next 2 weeks will then pan out how much further we're going to go. So I'm going to ask, and it's not asking, it's just this discussion is open. I need to ask Omoti to welcome her team first, because I know that there are other people who have joined us.
Yeah,
Would
thank you.
like to know who they are, and then let's just get into the issues on what are the social issues. And we don't use problems. It is social issues and social problems, but we're staying away from the word problem because we all have problems. These are issues that are pertinent to our communities. So over to you, Omoti.
Thank you. Um, all the 4Gs members, you're welcome and thank you for your support. I would like you to introduce yourself. Start from Miyadam. I'm sorry, Miyadam, if I didn't pronounce this well. You can unmute yourself because you live in Ireland. So I want you to introduce yourself, sister.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to apologize that I'm not going to show a video, which is important. That I know maybe it's good to put a face to a name, but I'm not in position to have a video put on at the moment. But my name is Mianda Makala Echazu, and I live in Ireland. And I am an accountant, and I work for HIV Ireland. It's a charity organization that deals with people with not mainly HIV, but people who suffer from social exclusion. In a nutshell, that's what I would like to say. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, please.
That's a good one. You're welcome, Six.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
it's my first time, so I am here to learn. Like, I probably won't talk much. I just want to know what you do and learn.
from what's going on in here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks. Now another person I'm going to call, Queen Fumila, no, Queen Josephine Obidipe. Because you live in Highland. Please, could you unmute yourself, please?
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I live in Ireland. A mom, a grandmom, and I am an entrepreneur. I loved Omoti. She's just like my own biological daughter. I love all actions, all what do I'm sorry. Right now I don't feel too okay. I'm a bit down, but that's why I couldn't show my face. But I just love everything about of our charitable deeds all over. The way she, I mean, for example, like what we are watching even right now is so great. It's above. I'm so, I don't know what to say. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank
it's
you.
really amazing. So this is just what I want to say right now. I thank everybody for coming, and
Well,
God
thank you
bless.
for your support. And our Queen from Nigeria, Queen Opayemi, over to you. Could you unmute yourself, please? Queen Wuraola, could you unmute yourself, please? The Nigeria people. Okay, let's see. That's grand. We can go ahead.
Okay. Are they going to speak? Are they able to speak?
Queen Wuraola, do you want to speak? You can go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Wuraola from Nigeria, and I'm into. Okay, actually, I'm a coordinator of an NGO also, Grace Mercy Favor Foundation. We are into empowerment, supporting targeted women, widows, single mom, then an educational support for children, especially the girl child. The area of educational support, then those who are out of school, help them getting back into the system. And if it's skill acquisition, we'll try also our best to put them through. I love 4G. I was added to 4G about, I think 5 months ago. And I think I loved it all the way. I love the zeal, I love the passion of the founder. I love the humanity in her. Anything children, anything youths, anything teens, anything women. She's so more passionate about it. Thank you. So it's good being on board this night. And I'm following Saffron, I think, for the past 2 months now. Yeah. And I enjoy and I love what you're doing. God bless you. So I'm still expecting when Saffron will take off fully Nigeria. I'm really expecting it. So that anything. Yeah.
We're in Nigeria already. But that's for another stage. But thank you so much for that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Queen Opayemi.
Strange hearing my name.
Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, my name is Opayemi, and I have been, well, let me say I'm an entrepreneur. I work as an event coordinator, and I also ventured into media. So I would say I work as a media personnel when it's necessary. Well, I joined 4G Kings and Queen probably, let me say, like 6 months plus. And I would say the platform has really given me more opportunities. Like if I could just say how honored I am to be on that platform. It's a platform where a lot of knowledge is being passed across. I learn, I understand a lot of things, and it's more like it's a privilege. Let me just say in short, it's a privilege, and I'm happy to be part of the family. I want to say thank you to Queen Omoti. She has done more than enough, and I'm grateful that our path crossed. And I'm happy that I'm in the meeting tonight. Thank you, Saffron. I've always been watching your video, even though sometimes I join on Zoom and sometimes I watch on Facebook. And I'm happy that there's a lot of work to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Queen Opeyemi. She's one of our power admin, and I call her small but mighty.
Mighty.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If there's anyone else,
No, I think
otherwise let's
that's all
proceed.
for now. Yeah.
Okay. Omoti, let's start from where we discussed and we looked at a few of those social issues. So if you can give us a couple and then let's just discuss the issues around it. What are those issues? What are the things, the determinants of those issues? What are the things that cause those issues to happen? And
Okay.
then ultimately we start looking at answers.
Okay. Thank you. When we talk about social issue, any social issue is a common problem that affects many people within a society. And being an immigrant in abroad, in diaspora, anywhere in the world, you experience all the kind of social issue worldwide. And I can say, where I am based presently, I can say I can mention about 7 social problems that I encounter, and I believe many of us encounter it as well. The first on my list is accent barrier. If you don't have the accent, you're going nowhere. That's number one. And also raising children and helping them to succeed in school is not easy, you know. And thirdly, we talk about securing work employment. It's not easy. They just throw whatever, at us because they find it that we're desperate. The way they treat us as second, citizen, and they treat us less. That's what I wanted to say, So it's not easy to get an employment within where we live. And fourthly, securing house, it's not easy for people. And some private landlord, they discriminate. They wouldn't want to give you house in a better areas in a nice area because of your color, And another social angle that we encounter, cultural barrier as well, within this community. And the sixth one on my list is racism. And the last one is lack of unity among us African, which is very, very big issue to us. Thank you.
Should we start from lack of unity?
Yes, please.
Why I'm starting from lack of unity is that I believe that if the saying that says together we stand and divided we fall.
Fall.
If we all stand together, if there is no crack, I'm going into all our proverbs today. If there is no crack in the wall, the alangba will not enter.
Will not enter. You're right.
You know what the alangba is? The lizard.
The lizard, yeah.
Into the wall. And it is just that if we stand together, if we have the hashtag together, we can, which is one of those ones that we held on to every day, then I believe that we are stronger together and there is nobody that can pull any one of us down. So I believe that we need to start with this issue of lack of togetherness, lack of collaborations, lack of empathy for each other.
Yeah.
Because if someone's going through something and you have empathy with what they're going through, you're able to sympathize. You're able to ask, "What can I do to help? How can I support you?" Until then, oh, God help all of us. So let's start with lack of togetherness, as you put it. Why do you think this is? Because I know that we have parties. If the people that do parties in the whole world, It is Africans. Let me even mention Nigerians first. We love our parties. So why is it that we're able to come together when we have parties, but outside of those, those social moments, we then do not connect?
Wow. I think I don't know, but in my own opinion, I might be right, I might be wrong. I think when it comes to party, people want to show off. Yeah, they want to show off and they want to enjoy themselves and socialize, and live and just live with it. But when it comes to supporting one another in the community, I think pride, ego, level, some people they want to show their level that, oh, we are not in the same category.
Okay.
So maybe that's why. And if any one of the member has any other opinion, they can chip in.
Please feel free to unmute yourself and chip in. This is a very interactive session. There are no lectures here. As long as you do know that your background is not going to interfere. If it is, just make sure that you're in a
Well,
environment.
from my own perspectives and experience, because I've engaged with a lot of people here, and I've realized two things. Some people, they have the idea of doing something as well, but instead of them to collaborate with you and maybe plan it together with you, they tend to do their own separately, and they won't let you know, they won't just support you. But before you know it, they'll start doing something. And that is when you realize why they're not supporting you. And the second reason I've also noticed is there are some people, they just think ahead of you. They believe what you are doing might take you places, and they don't really want that. And they're always challenging you. Why are you doing this? What for? What's the reason? They don't have the passion for it, but you ask them to support you, they'll be discouraging you. And I think the fear is what they're thinking in their mind, that this might take you far. So I don't know, maybe there are other reasons, but those are the two things I've noticed with people I've worked with.
Thank you. Mianda has her hand up.
Yeah.
Just had your hand. Mianda.
Yes, myself, I think a lack of unity among Africans is the largest problem that the African minority have. I have, personally, I have experienced it, there's this thing among Africans that the first time an African meets you, this is actually offensive to me. If I meet a Black person, to me, that's my sister, that's my brother. The country where they come from is irrelevant. But what is so prevalent, especially in Ireland, the first thing they'll ask you, oh, you are from where? I'm not from Nigeria. And sometimes I actually answer people, oh, I'm from Nigeria, to cut any other further questions. This is the first thing. And once they know that you're not from the country where they come from, they start to behave differently. They either draw back, or they're not willing to go all the way with you. And this is not only a Nigerian problem, it's an African thing. Oh, you're not from my country. Oh, there's only certain things that I can do with you. Or there's this, there's that. Like, I'm from Southern Africa. The Southern Africans think, oh, Nigerians are this, oh, Nigerians are that. You don't want to do this with Nigerians and things like that. And we betray one another, forgetting that we are one. I have seen so much that I will not even pinpoint anything, but things that just because somebody, especially, I see a lot of, sometimes people ask you, are you from Nigeria? Because they think every African is from Nigeria. And I see people getting offended. This issue has bugged me that I was even planning of making a YouTube video to say, why would a Ghanaian sister or brother get offended by being called a Nigerian? What's wrong with that? If, like, for example, I am married to a Nigerian, my people treat me a little different because they think my husband is not good enough because he's Nigerian. You know, people would ask you, were there no good brothers before you chose to marry a Nigerian? This lack of togetherness, this lack of Africans standing in for one another, I have seen it at all levels, where a Nigerian or any other African comes in the office, you want to side with the Irish people, and you want your brother, you know, you gossip about them, you don't stand and
She's
say
right.
you're one.
Yeah, that
Correct.
happens a lot.
You know, in my office, I have dealt with so many nationalities. And I remember one particular example, a lady came. And before then, I knew that lady didn't like me. But when she joined the company, I saw that every other Irish person was against her. But I chose to stand with her because she's Black. Everybody was looking for a way that she was going to leave that job. And many Africans, usually, they side, they will gossip about their fellow African to even an extent of having them sacked or something done. And then you think you are a star. They would do the same to you. One thing I have learned dealing with Irish people, they stand with one another. I have been in charity work ever since I arrived in Ireland. And these charities, Omoti's is the first one I've seen among the Africans. All these charities are Irish. And I learned one thing from the Irish: whether the person is wrong or right, if they are Irish, they stand for them.
Yes, it's about it.
You can actually be murdered, and Irish people will say they don't know because the person who killed is Irish. I learned something there. I said, why can't we do that?
I don't know.
Why can't we do that? And at some point, I used to see Black people come, they do something wrong. I will never tell, regardless of where they come from, because I learned it from them. I will refuse to witness because I learned it from them. So this is the main problems Africans have. And in terms of business, you know, Africans really, we don't like each other. Like, for example, somebody who owns an African shop, you don't mind selling expired things to your fellow Africans, but you can sell the best to other people. And then there it creates a problem where Africans begin to go to other different ethnic groups to purchase or patronize them. And then it looks like they don't want to patronize you, yet you're not respecting them because they're Africans. They will understand, even if I have expired goods and all that, things like that, but you can't do it to other people. Other ethnic minorities, they don't do that. You know, so these are just some of the things that I have seen, like I have seen in Ireland, and it's very sad. It's very sad because it doesn't matter where somebody comes from. The skin color is the same, and we have to remain as one. White people, whether the person is wherever they come from, if the color is skin, they overlook that. But we don't. Just because you sound different, you are Ghanaian or you are whatever, then you begin to create cliques, you know?
Exactly, cliques. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very powerful point. Wow.
Okay, Leander, that was good. Omoti, I don't know if the other members.
I think Josephine Obidipe, Queen.
Oh yes. Everything you have been saying, you are all correct. And I find it so hard to believe. It's very, very hard to believe that we call ourselves that we are Africans. Even in diaspora, we don't love ourselves. There is no love. And I believe that one key thing that happens there is because the love of God is not even in our hearts. Because if we have the God in our hearts and we know God is love, then no matter what skin even that we have, we should love one another because we are all created by God. And most painful part is that now we call ourselves Africans, we do each other. We do bad things to each other. all the time. You can imagine that where you are here, we are here in Ireland now. Everybody wants to keep to your own lane. You don't no friends, nobody, because if you cannot do what they are doing, you are seen as the bad one there. Because you can all we engage in Africa, the mentality that African has is gossiping, doing biting and all these fights all over. This is what
Yes, go ahead.
It has not been erased from our heart, then they will continue to behave exactly like that. And that is why we see even in Nigeria, there is no love. There is no love within.
Thank you so much.
Because if you have
go ahead,
and that person is doing more something great, you have to encourage them. You have to support them. You have to do your best. You understand me? Yeah. But we are not doing that. Africans are not doing that. We are so bad, especially Nigerians. I'm so sorry. They are so bad that you prefer to even stay by yourself. When I'm telling you the truth, what I'm really encouraged by Omoti. I'm really so encouraged by her. I love everything she's doing. She's doing wonderfully well, doing great, even for people she has not seen or met them. And that is the way we should be. That is the way our heart should be. Whether you see the person or you don't see the person, you know the person is close to you or is your family. It's not your family. We need to accept each other. We need to respect each other. We need to love each other. This is the only way we can move forward in life. This is the only way in Africa, among us. That is the only way we can, because if we continue to do the way we are doing right now, then how do we move forward? How do we move forward? It's not possible. Even God cannot stop unity. When they were building the Tower of Babel, they were building, God couldn't do anything except to say, okay, let me just scatter these people. Let me just bring them. Or else they were in one accord, in unity. And this is what is lacking. It's lacking in our midst. Among Nigerians, is lacking, seriously. Seriously. So this is just what I want. I love what she's doing, I'm telling you. And she's so amazing. And I love every one of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Wow. So we've
I'll use my
covered.
other phone to send this thing to other people to share with, because they need to hear, they need to listen, we need to share this, we need to let people see what we are talking about.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Meander just typed that obviously the communities that we live in, they know and see our disunity and they use it against us.
Yeah.
If this is going to make you all feel any better, I can assure you this is not peculiar to just Ireland. I think this is a problem we all face in the diaspora because we are not united. And I think if this can take us back to our history, and I know Yemi's going to smile when I say this, but this will take us back to the scramble and partition for Africa. And I'm gonna just quickly say this, because what I'm hearing now, it feels like we've gone back to 1884, where Africa was sat down, the Europeans sat down in a room and discussed
and divided.
They discussed the fate of Africa. They divided Africa. They sat around a table, and guess who wasn't present at that table? Africans. There was not one African. We all did it. We all did the history. Those of us who studied in Nigeria, and now it's on the internet. It's there. It's live. The Scramble and Partition for Africa, 1884 to 1885. It's what happened, and I believe strongly what we are facing today is still the ghost of that period is still haunting us today, where we are very comfortable sitting around a table. Yeah, one of us will be with them, selling the other out. We are still comfortable. Now, I think we've talked so much about, we know what the problem is. We all know what the problem is. Now, what we need to think about are solutions, because we can't keep discussing a problem because the problem doesn't go away. You know, how can we fix this? And I'm throwing that out to everybody, because I'll tell you why. From what Yemi said, when we looked at your six issues, yeah, if we are united, you see all those other 5 things you listed, there won't be a problem. The other 5 things you listed won't be a problem. So we need to fix the unity, and everything else will be solved. So I'm throwing it out there. You know, we all know what the problem is. How can we make that change?
Miranda, are you there?
I know
Yes, I'm
you're
there.
oh good.
Yes,
I wanted
I'm
to say
there.
you can speak.
Okay. Yes, for me, the major paradigm shift for an African would be, I know this is not possible, just merely speaking, with the grace of God, to change the way we think. That's where the main transformation will begin. The way we see ourselves, to value ourselves as Africans, to accept ourselves that we are good enough as Africans. We are comfortable in our own skin. We are also comfortable with our own accents. Yes, the way we speak, we cannot speak like whoever, because they don't try to speak what is ours, and they are okay and we accept them. So we need to be comfortable in our own skin, with ourselves. And when we begin to value ourselves and our input, it will reflect on how we see ourselves, because I see the diaspora accepts the Asians the way they are, and they even try to include them. It's only Africans that are always excluded in so many things and sidelined and say this and that. But other communities don't really face that. I know they do, but not to the extent of an African. It's because we actually think we don't deserve, we're not good enough. When we begin to reflect that we have accepted ourselves and are comfortable with ourselves, when we change the way we think, then the transformation will begin. And if I see my brother from Zimbabwe or from Angola or from Congo, that they are good enough and I can actually be comfortable in my own community, I don't have to look like I live abroad only if I bring a white person in my picture, so that people will know that I'm abroad. I should be okay with my own people. So that's what I think, that's where the main transformation, it's the way we think. I don't know if you've noticed, and no offense if anyone is married to any Caucasians here, have you noticed that when a person marries a Caucasian, they actually think that's special? It's different when you marry an African from another country. Oh, okay. But a Caucasian, it's like it's a special marriage and they are easily accepted. But another African, people raise their eyebrows. Oh, they're like, oh, I hate these people. They're like this, or that, this and that. You know, that kind of thing. We need to accept ourselves as Africans. And that's when we'll begin to love ourselves. Not wishing to be something else. Thank you very much.
Wow. You know what? You mentioned something. You said we need to be to know that we're good enough. And we need to be comfortable in our own skin and in our own language. You know, if you go to Italy, care. You go to France, Calembe, as we say, down there. If you go to France and you enter some arenas, if you like, don't understand the French, they'll be speaking French to you. and you have to be forced to learn this language. You know, there's some European countries, before you can get your papers, you have had to have learned the language. So why is it that we're not happy to speak our own language, to market our own language and our own cultures? I'm not saying all our cultures are correct or they're right. However, we have we have good cultures. The first one being respect. And I'll just throw that in. This was told to me by a young person. So that what they value most in the African culture is respect, and that's a young person. So if um we are not comfortable in our own language, and you think that your accent, is a barrier to you making progress, it's a very, 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 very wrong way to follow, because I love accents. I love the I love accents.
Absolutely.
There's some accents that let your brain to start thinking in a different in a different light. I love accents, and I think every I'm trying to be polite. There's some accents that seem to sound make you feel like you've had 3 bottles of red wine or white wine. Um, I don't know why we have such awesome African accents, and the language flows easily. It's down to the person that you're speaking to to I don't know, to accept you for who you are,
Exactly.
because you are strong in who you are. So this your own confidence, your own strength is supposed to then project onto that person. And when they see your strength, they have no choice. They just
No.
have no choice but to accept you, adapt to you, and then try to integrate with you. Like you said, it is true. If we're not strong in our own skin, our own voice, and our own language, hmm, where do we start? Because we relate every day, we relate every day. When you are in Rome, you behave like a Roman. When you are in England, you behave like, when you are in Ireland, you behave like an Ireland, like an Irish. But it those languages, those phrases,
Mm.
we're talking about the law. We're not talking about speaking like the people. We're talking about making sure that you follow the laws of the land, the policies
Exactly.
of the land that are put in place. And if you are not integrating yourself, then definitely you are not involving yourself in making the laws of the land.
Exactly.
And we're going back to the scramble for Africa. Is that when you're not at that table, when you're not talking about the laws and saying this policy that you're putting in place, yes, it will work for certain people, but for my community, there are certain ways we do things that it will not work for us. If we're not able to influence those policies, then sorry, we're just bystanders, and these policies will not work for us. So when you look at policies in housing, you look at policies in employment, you look at cultural barriers, all of this comes down to the fact that we are not comfortable in our own skin. We are
Yeah.
not able to sit at tables where we can make informed contribution or decisions as well. So, wow.
Temi Tokbe had her hand up. I'm going to go over to her because she has had her hand up. Temi Tokbe, are you able to speak now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
go ahead.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just want to buttress what you say, what you've been saying. But there's this say in Yoruba, I'll say it first in Yoruba. It says, Ile latike shorode,
Hmm.
which means charity begins at home. Yeah. I know so many people have got experiences that says, oh, that makes them say, oh, I don't want to associate with Africans anymore. I don't want to associate with Nigerians. Um, everybody's got something to say. But if we are there and we say, oh, we're not going to be helping ourselves, I don't want to associate with this person, like Mianda said, they use it against us. I've seen situations at work where I work. I've seen students that, because I work in a school, the student that came in, they're from Nigeria, they're from Africa. And I don't mind what, as long as you're African, as long as you've got that black skin, I know you're from Africa. I try to like come in to see where you need help. But I've seen situations where Africans, you know, because they got this accent and everything, they are Africans themselves, you know. They kind of say, oh, because you need to go back lower down from the level you're supposed to have. I always tell them, no. Can you bring in your results? Can I see what you have? And I will tell them, no, this guy or this person's got that degree, can go to that level that they need to go. I've been in a situation that is an African that was right against me. And it's kind of like brought down my self-confidence then. I had to do lots of things. African. And it was a white person that later came and said, oh, we're sorry about this. We're going to help you. So if we begin from our own level, from our own, trying to help others, and we show it to people in our community, yeah, we are the minority group. When I look at Asians, I'm like, oh, wow. Because you will see the way they are, everybody's fatal, I've seen situation that is one person and as another person, you understand what I'm saying? But we don't help ourselves. But if we start taking that mentality out of our head that, oh, if I help this person, that person will be greater than me. Because that's the mentality there. They've already included it in our brain that if you help that person will be greater than you. If you just show that person that business route, then that person will take it off you. Yes, it has happened. It has happened to me personally, but it doesn't stop me telling you where I get my stock from. It doesn't stop me. What I always say, my mom always said this, like, where I will get my own business is you might not get it. Whatever is mine, I've seen situation that I can't do something, I refer them to the other person that can do it. But I know that person will never do it for me. I don't mind. So if we take that mentality out of our head, like, oh, if I help this person, then I won't be able to get to the top. Then we are going to be close. It will be a very close-knit community. And about this accent thing, our language, I noticed that most of us, we don't teach our kids our language. But one thing I know about the Asian community, or the first thing that we teach our kids is their language. And I've seen a situation where the school told the parents, don't worry, you don't need to teach them English. They will learn it when they get to school.
Yes.
I try to do well. My kids are curious. The moment we're saying something in Yoruba, they will ask me, Mom, what does that mean? So when they ask me like that, and my mom wants to talk to them, my mom speaks in Yoruba to them. So they want me to teach them. And I can easily tell you, my 9-year-old can read Yoruba. The first time he read it, I was like, seriously? So I encourage him more. And with that, it's got confidence in it. It tells them in the school, like, oh, I've got a second language, it's Yoruba. And which I'm sure if we try to be that, I've seen a situation at work where someone told me on the phone that because of my accent, that you need to go back to where you come from, the jungle you come from. And I told that person, like, oh, I didn't come from a jungle. I actually come from a very big country, civilized one. And English is our first language. So if you don't like my accent, darling, then you need to speak, you get someone else to speak to you. And I got off the phone. I talked to my manager, like, I'm not talking to that person again. That's it. So, but because I am confident, yes, they will laugh at us, they will do this. But like Meander said, you have to have confidence in that your skin. That's why most of people now goes to have just all these skin lightening because they want to be white. Yeah, you have to be confident in skin. I have a young girl, a teenager that was telling me she's dark in complexion. She's very dark. And she's always telling me, oh, people laugh at me at school because I'm black, I'm this. And I always tell her, like, see, it's what they are jealous about in you. That's what they tell you. So anytime they tell you you are dark, you're too black, I always tell them that is the beauty in me. I always tell them I am beautiful. I am black, I'm beautiful. Always tell them that. So don't even think of changing your color. It affected our mentality. I had to take her into my house, put her up for 6 months to change our mentality about that. Anytime she told me, Auntie, I'm ugly, I'll always tell her, no, you're not ugly, you're beautiful. And I always go on the internet to look for black people that are really black in our color and that are successful. And I'll show her, look at that. So don't let anybody make you feel less about you. So if we can't do that, because now we're at our stage, we are at a stage that, I don't know, it's only the grace of God that can change our mentality. We now need to work on the younger generations to try to tell them, like, see, when you see a black person, don't see that person as your enemy. See that person as your friend, as your family. Try to help each other, because no other person will help you there. You are the ones that can help yourself. We can change their mentality. We can work on them now. Yoruba will say, "Ati deja gbigbe." We are not dry fish. That is, if you try to break it, it's going to bend it. It's going to break in pieces. But those fresh ones that you can bend, those are the ones, the younger generations now, that we need to change their mentality. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Temi Tokbe. That was absolutely awesome. And we have a king. A king has joined us. I'm going to ask the king to please unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Ube Suleiman Abdul by name. And nice to be here. And it has been a very educating session and learning a lot. Most importantly, teaching our kids our mother language, and which is very important, and accepting who we are, our personality, our skin, whatever, which can never be taken from us. I've really learned a lot, and I hope to learn more as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What I would like us to do is to take some of the questions from some of the queens, I believe these are, on Facebook. And I have one from Sakirat who says, there is so much to be done when it comes to staying close to one another. We need to build a positive mindset, an individual at a time. So basically, each one of us has to build a positive mindset. And I think that has come across when you talked about one of the G's, Sister Omoti, where you said building self-esteem. That is part of building a positive mindset. Then we have Awosheyi Okpeyemi said, Africans should accept the fact that we are all born with different natures and inhabit different attitudes to things. The reason why we are jealous of each other, thereby pulling ourselves down. I think that came across this evening as well. I think it was Mayanda who stated the fact that, you know, as business people, we should be, and I think somebody else said it as well. If you have a business, it doesn't mean that if I tell you where I get my supply of shoes, that it means you're going to be bigger or better than me. But guess what? If you are bigger or better than me, that should be a blessing. It shouldn't be a problem. I think as a community, we've got to get away from that. Sakura also said, because we are denied of our values as young beings, sorry, I need to, yes, because we are denied of our values as young beings, we carry those along one day at a time until we begin to unlearn the things we have learned from the people who colonized us. It will be hard to accept who we are. It takes courage. And that takes us back to where? 1884.
1884.
So we are in 2021, but we still have that mentality of 1884. And I think as individuals, we need to work on that, you know, one day at a time. Please, we would like to welcome Deaconess Ruth. Deaconess Ruth, I'm going to ask you to please unmute yourself. You are welcome to Saffron's voiceover talk show. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Oh, I'm Ruth Omerigi. I'm a social worker with USLA, and also the youth coordinator in GFM Island. So I work with youths, and also the head of department does the children's ministry as well. So I'm the one coordinating both the children and the youth ministries in GFM Island. And also I run a concert. The concert is Sisters Art Concert. So we work with young people and their families in Ireland. So that's just about myself.
Awesome. It's amazing to have you on. I'm a bit surprised, Omoti. I'm listening to all of these ladies introducing themselves. They seem to have amazing initiatives. They seem to be doing amazing things, but yet we are struggling with unity. I don't know if I'm on, you know, if I'm making sense here. Because I'm a writer, so I've been writing a lot of what has gone on. So yeah, I think it's something we need to look into. Josephine has her hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Before I welcome, after we've spoken to Josephine, we'd like to welcome some people who have just joined onto the platform. Go ahead, Josephine.
Okay. Like one of our sisters has said it, I think I put it down myself as that our mindset must change. We are now in our, I would say oldies, we are getting older and older. What about our children that we give back to? Because if you don't teach them, how will they know? How will they learn? How will they know the right to be strong for themselves? They have to be strong for themselves. They don't have to be afraid of whether you are a black person, or whether you are this, or whether you are that. You are a child of God. You come from God, and you have all the things, every other things that anybody that wants to get, you have it too. You can do it too, because everything is possible. Your mind tells you, you have it in your heart that you can do it, then you can do it. So we begin to tell them, because when we were growing up, and then the way our children must, like I said, they must be strong for themselves. When we were growing up, when I was younger, I imagined the way we always play together. We love each other. We play together. We do all things together. We by the moonlight, or tell stories and all that. They need all these things now, instead of at a later time when they now become old like us, and we are too, how do I put it? When a broom is one, you can break it, but when it has now grown together, you put them together, it's very, very hard now to break it. So we should let them, train them now, from now, to begin to have this new mindset, to know what it is right now to do in their life, to stay strong, to stay strong, to believe them in themselves, and not to believe that, okay, because somebody sees somebody else, that somebody else is making it, then you begin to feel one kind about yourself, or you begin to envy other people. No, then they have to be taught you are unique yourself and you can do things. This is what I want to say. And not until we go to the church before our children will begin to learn some basic things we need to teach them in our house ourselves. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you, Queen Josephine Obidi. That was very informative. And just before we continue, I would like to, like I said when we started, that when our fellow directors joined the platform, I would be shouting them out. And at this stage, I really want to welcome our resident social worker for SaffronSACAP. Sister Adebola Ahmed is in the house. Welcome, sis. It's amazing to have you on tonight. Thank you so much for joining. And any valuable input, you know how you do it, we would be more than happy to have. So just once again, we just want to welcome you onto the platform. I also want to welcome Chinyere Asasa all the way from, I don't know if you're in Lagos or Port Harcourt, but you are so welcome, sis. Thank you for coming on.
I'm in Lagos.
You're in Lagos. Oh, awesome, awesome. Chinyere is my former classmate. We're going back how many years now? So long ago, but yeah, thanks, sis. Thanks for coming on. Thank you for the support. You know, we talk about the way we like to network. And as you can see, people come in from everywhere and anywhere, and it's important. I know we have Wura, who is from Lagos, and somebody else I think is in Nigeria from the 4Gs. So yeah, this has been an amazing conversation. I loved what just came out. The last thing Queen Josephine said was, it is not just when they go to the church that they need to learn. You know, we are primary carers for our children. And if we're not teaching them in the home and we're releasing them out into the community, then we have a massive, massive problem. Faith is amazing, but faith without work, it's not possible. It just doesn't work. So yeah, we're going to continue this conversation. We would like to have everybody's input. For us to find a solution, it's not one voice. You know, it's going to take a community to bridge this gap. I want to welcome our other director on Facebook, Director for Safeguarding Children in Schools, Deborah Titilola Ladipo. She is our director, and she mans the Facebook page. So welcome, Debs. It's beautiful to have you on Facebook this evening. And all our Facebook people, I can see lots more people have joined. We want to say good evening and welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Bolahon. Kainde Bolahon, how are you? Thank you for joining. Fumilola Dada, you're on. Thank you. Edward Adewale, thank you so much. To all of you who have joined on Facebook. Some of you are our regulars and some of you have joined newly. Mama Alice Ayuruntari, good evening, Ma. Thank you, Mommy. You're always on. You're always showing us the love, your prayers and everything. Very, very well appreciated. So back to the show. Yes, Omoti, over to you. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, once again. Thank you for joining us. And this is so amazing and powerful, you know, session. And I just have a question, because most of you are social worker, you are professional, so that's I want to put it to us on the session. Now, do you know my fear? My fear is for our children. We that came from Africa, we have a lot of experience that, you know, we can withstand anything. But children born in abroad, in diaspora, I have kind of fear for them emotionally, because what we suffer through in the workplace, we suffer emotional and psychological, what's it called? We suffer it from these people. Because we are from Africa, you know, there are a lot of things that we can withstand. I'm just like, for our children, how can we sit at the table? How do we push the table because of our children, so that they will not suffer emotional bullying in the workplace like we are experiencing? How do we, how do we build that table? How do we push it because of our children future? Thank you.
I'm going to throw that to all the social workers that we have in the house, the people who work with children in education. Please, the floor is yours. If anybody can shed any light on that question from Queen Omoti, that would be amazing. So feel free to unmute yourselves, any of the social workers. There's nothing like getting information from the horse's mouth. Not to say that any of you is a horse, but you know what I mean. It's a figure of speech. We would really love to have a professional stance to that question, because it would, I mean, I could throw something out there, but I'm not a social worker. And it might need to have a professional outlook in answering that question. So if you are a social worker, or if you are somebody who works with children, or a child psychologist, because Sister Omoti has mentioned about the mental state of the child or of our children. So we would love to hear from any professionals on the Zoom. Whilst we're waiting for any of the professionals to unmute or raise their hands, I will take a statement on Facebook. And this is from Deborah. Deborah states, unfortunately, the propaganda perpetrated by the colonials through mainstream media and education has affected non-Black perceptions of who we are. But even worse, Black people have come to believe the negative narrative sold to the world. This is why Black people don't trust each other. We need to be re-educated. Yeah. And you can see it's so, it keeps going back. It keeps taking us back to that round table discussion that should never have happened all those years ago. We are still having that problem. And as Omoti said, it's now filtering to our children. What can we do to help these kids for tomorrow? So I'm going to throw this out again to anybody who can shed some light on and give an answer to that question. This is not about right or wrong. This is about us coming together as a community to solve some of the issues. Yeah.
Okay. Before any social work comes up, I know that there is an ongoing understanding within social care that children are very resilient, and given the right environment, we can build on that resilience positively. Please, any of the social workers here, can you shed light on that, please?
Thank you very much. Actually, I was just going to talk about resilience as well. And looking at the question that my sister Omoti actually asked this evening is a good one. But there's this thing in social work that we call social capital, in terms of looking into the outside world, the resources that are available for anyone to be able to strive in the society. But for our children, before you can take them out, before you look at social capital, you must look at what is available within the family. So for a child's resilience to be built and be able to stand confidently, to withstand bullying and stand whatever happens, be able to contend against situations that may be oppressive outside, that child would have been equipped at home. But unfortunately, a lot of these children, they face a lot of challenges in the home front, because one of the major challenges is the challenge of growing between two cultures. Because at home, they are in Africa. Outside there, they are in Europe. Because mom and dad will say, you are not allowed to do this in my house. This is, in my house, we are in Nigeria. In my house, this is Africa. This is where things should be done. And as a result, it doesn't really give our children the space to ask questions, the space to express themselves. And that sense of timidity, they carried it on into the outside world. But if a child has that space at home to be who he is, be able to express himself, confide in mom or confide in dad, that child's confidence will strive. And when the confidence of that child strives, that child definitely will be able to withstand bullying out there, will be able to identify oppressive practices in the workplace. I've had a couple of sessions with children that I work with, and I've made them understand that if at home you don't find it comfortable saying something, or probably something is bothering you, come to Auntie Ruth, tell me about it. Then I can reach out to your mom and dad. Or if it's something that you don't want mom and dad to know, we can just have a conversation around it. Then we can look for a way out of it. But if the home front is not settled, if the home front is not strong enough to build a child's confidence, that child cannot strive outside there. It's a tug of war. It's difficult because even in the school these days, we're made to understand that when Black children move together in school, the school authority tends to look at them as if they're intimidating. So they are not allowed to kind of move together as a group. Whereas other children from other background, probably white background, there's no issue with that. But personally, I've told them, if anybody ever challenge you again on this matter, come back to me and I will write the school. And I'll be able to use different platforms to push this idea into the minds of parents as well, that we must stand together and begin to contend with school that wouldn't allow our children to be themselves. But it boils down also, like I said, to these parents. We African parents, we must try as much as possible to change our mindset. I'm not saying that we should change our culture, but we should look at it and put ourselves in the position of our children. Because growing between two cultures is a huge challenge, though it has its own benefits, but also has its challenges. But if we parents can put ourselves in their position, we'll be able to work together with them. They will see the home front as the ground for them, a place for them to strive where, open up, be honest, have honest conversation without condemnation. And when that is available for them, their confidence will grow. And when they go out there, they'll be able to identify a bully and stand up against a bully and deal with that bully. That's where I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoa. I had to stop writing at some point just so that I could listen. And yeah, thank you so much. That was very, very powerful. Extremely powerful. Temi Tope, you have your hand up again. So I'm going to come to you. Before I come to you, I just need to take another Facebook question, if that's okay. But it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. It says, I think first off, not all Africans have suffered in the Western environment. I agree we need to support children to be more resilient, but we need to be careful not to train children to think there is an agenda to ensure they fail. Good, dedicated, hard work still gets good results. Like in everything, there's always going to be two sides of the coin. Okay, Temi Tope, your hand is down. It's now, okay, Sister Adebola's hand is up. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hi, I was just, I was going to say that the way I heard that question very well was, how do we prevent our children from going through the emotional turmoil we went through in terms of the context of where they're living? Is that right? Is that what the question was? Was that the question? Did I get it right?
No. In the workplace, Miyaman, is that Miyanda? I think she will understand what I'm trying to say. In a workplace whereby you are being bullied emotionally, they know how they do it. They know their way. That even though you report them, they will turn it against you that you are being emotional.
Yes, ma. Yes, I understand.
Miyanda, understand what I'm saying?
I understand, yes.
If it were to be another community that's well integrated, it's different ball game. But Miyanda live here, she knows what I'm saying.
Okay, so is your question that how do we help the children to cope with that?
How do we help children to cope with that? Because our children in diaspora, they cannot withstand, coming back from Africa, lots of challenges have been thrown to us. We don't mind. But children in diaspora, I don't think they can withstand those kind of what I'm talking about. Miyanda understand what I mean.
So where are you
Yes.
based, ma'am? Are you based there or is this Nigeria?
In
I'm
Ireland.
based in Ireland.
In Ireland, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think she was. Sorry to cut you short. I think what she's saying is that how do we prepare our children for the future? Because the things that we go through, they will go through them as well, and it's inevitable. It's actually happening already in schools. And I have young children. I went to school here. I went through stuff. I went to college here. I have gone through these things. I totally understand where she's coming from. A child that has no African experience or that resilience emotionally and probably psychologically as well to withstand the certain types of treatments where somebody treats you like you are less human. They don't understand this. Like, how do we prepare them for such happenings in the future? Thank you.
Thank you for that. I don't think, for me, I think obviously in terms of the work that we do with children and how we work with children need to have various experience. And I think what we need to get our head around is what we're even talking about that we went through is very little compared to what children are going through now. The pressure that they face, true. The context of what they're going through. We're talking about social media, cyberbullying, self-harming, things that, I mean, when I was in secondary school, the kind of bullying that you face is someone tells you, come and meet me at the back of the school, and then people gather around you and they say, whichever wants to fight, throw the first punch and things like that. But I mean, what we're dealing with now, we're dealing with knives, we're dealing with guns, we're dealing with gangs, we're dealing with, so I mean, the issues that the children are dealing with now is totally different from what we're dealing with. And we have to look at it in the context of it. I don't think we can shield children from the effect of what this emotion. I think what we need to do is, someone said it earlier, there's a lot of education that needs to go into helping children understand the context of where we are, the issues that are going on, helping them understand their identity. When we talk about emotional intelligence, for instance, we're talking about in emotional intelligence, which is one of the key things that we need to be doing with our children. We're talking about the relationship between self-awareness, their social skills, developing empathy, motivation, self-regulation, all those things come together. So, I mean, and I'm a bit reluctant to say that when we talk about resilience, that it can only be developed in the family home. I would say this, I said resilience can be developed anywhere. We have, I mean, in child protection, we have cases where there are two children in the same family and the same issues they're facing, drug abuse, everything is going on. One is thriving well, the other is not. The other is very disruptive at school. So what causes them to? Obviously, the home environment is toxic. So where is the resilience developed from? He's a teacher. A teacher is taking a special interest in that child and have helped that child to believe in themselves. And that child is thriving regardless of how toxic the environment around the child is. So resilience doesn't just develop at home, it's developed everywhere. And when we talk about our saying in Africa that it takes a whole village to bring up a child, it means that we're all in this to win it. And it means that the church is in it, the mosque is in it, the school is in it, the family is in it, the neighbors are in it, everyone is in it to bring up that child, to develop the best out of the child. We cannot shield children from what's going on. I mean, the world that we're living with, the kind of, I mean, sometimes I'm really scared for my children because the kind of things that we deal with, the kind of thinking, the kind of depraved ideas that people have is really going out skyrocketed in different ways. I mean, in Nigeria is about money rituals, sometimes with different parts. Here is about depravity of another level. So, I mean, it's different things in different contexts. What I'm just trying to say here is children in the context of where we are and what we're going with is about us working together. And I think that's just the bottom line. African families, we've got to come together. We're such skilled people. We've got so much talent. We need to stop fighting each other. We need to put everything into base and look at how we can. It doesn't really matter. My mom used to say this, oh, bless her soul. She said, a man kills a snake, a woman kills a snake. As long as the snake dies, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, who takes credit for it? School takes credit, church takes credit, as long as we're bringing up children that are going to be developed with the right skills. I think it really scares me that people are passing the buck to each other. It's your fault, it's my fault. No. And parents are saying teachers should do it. Teachers are saying parents should do it. Actually, let's do it together. It's already getting bad. Why don't we just put in what we have to do it? And resilience for me can be developed anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just need one person in the life of that child to boost their ego, to give them positive information, and the child will strive, regardless of the toxicity surrounding the child. That's my take.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much. I knew when I called on you, we're about to be schooled, and wow, you've just given us some amazing, amazing contributions. Fumilayo, I'm going to ask you to, yeah, let's go ahead. You're unmuted. Your hand's been up for a while. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
To buttress what everybody have said, well, resilience can be developed anywhere, according to my sister. But what the Kenyan Root was saying, because I work with youth as well, is for our own parts. We know the teachers have to do a lot and other people, but we as parents, we really need to help our children. That's the one that concerns us. So for them coming from an African setting, they are being trained in two ways, according to what she said. The home front, we have different orientation. In school, they teach them different things. So we parents, in fact, in some homes, this is a big issue because the husband might be, between husband and wife, you might have different ways of, training these children, because we women, we have that passion, we have the emotional feeling, and we feel we need to support these kids. But men, they don't really understand. They like, we are Africans. We can't do that. We can't do this. So the children are in between. They are confused. And so if care is not taken, we are the ones that will even add more to their problem. So the only way we can help them, like I help my children, I told them that you need to empower yourself. You need to build your confidence. Is what you have that you can give, and what you give, if they need it, you'll be valued more. So when the society values you, that is when you have that confidence in what you're doing. So it's better you bring the best out of yourself. And I always tell them to face their studies. When a child is well educated, if they need you on any particular field you choose to, follow, they don't have a choice in this country. I've realized if you are good in your profession, they just don't have a choice. They use you. So, but it is when a child is being intimidated, when they don't have that confidence, that they might pass through what we're going through now. Because it was when we came to this country, we started going to school, we started building ourselves, we started trying to include ourselves in most things. So it's not so easy for us, but because we gave back to them here, if we encourage them, they can quickly achieve those things. So for me, we parents have a lot to do to help these kids gain their confidence. So what Omotola is saying, I can understand that we don't want them to pass through what we're going through. For me, it's just for us to empower them as parents. That's the first thing. And then they'll be able to fit in the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that input. I just have two statements from Facebook. It says, from Fumilola Dada said, we must let our children know how to manage life than ignoring or thinking they will handle it, which might help them mentally in the future. Deborah also says the parent's role starts from age dot. The issue is we start when they have already been exposed to the very things we are trying to educate against. Yeah. So yeah, I think I mean we sound like we're all on the same page. We sound like we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Parents, it's our duty from the beginning, because before the children go out into the community, they've stayed with us. So you know the buck starts and stops with you as a parent. Saffron reiterates this. We have parenting classes, which we hold, and we will be sharing that information with yourselves, virtual and physical. And the reason why we started these parenting classes is because long before our kids are going to go out into the community, they start with us. So those values, you know, have to be instilled in our kids.
Exactly. That's why it has to be instilled, the
Instilled,
self-confidence.
yeah, before they go out. Yes, the teachers are paid to teach our kids. They're not paid to raise our children.
Or nurture them.
Or nurture them. That starts with us, you know, as parents. And we are not always going to get it right because there is no manual, but that is where the unity of a community comes in. You know, when you see my child outside at 10 o'clock and my child is underage, and Omoti sees my child, I'm expecting Omoti to call my child and say, is that not Gizzy's daughter? What are you doing out by this time? Does mommy know? This is the essence of community. You know, don't just think you can raise your child, because we can be pseudo parents to all of our children. Yeah. I'm just gonna take Temi Tokbe, the last person. Then we're gonna be, once we've taken Temi Tokbe, we're going to open the floor just for a couple of minutes because I'm in a good mood today. So we're gonna open the floor and then take some more you know, let's just have, before we end, a bit of a discussion. Yeah. I think we've got another king. I'm not sure, but let's speak to Temi Tokbe, and then because I love to see kings and queens. I think I've just cited another king, but just bear with me. So Temi Tokbe, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me talk. Omoti, see, that emotional blackmail starts from the home.
Your volume. Can you move closer to your device, please? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Not properly. It's quite faint. It's very faint.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, it's better.
Yeah. That's emotional blackmail, bullying. It starts from African home. Let's call it spade a spade. We Africans, especially Nigerians, we scold more than praising our kids. So it's already in their head. You know, we have this thing like, oh, because our kid came in and got all B's and C's. Instead of us praising that, oh, well done, babe, you can do this. We tend to tell them, oh, what about the child in your class that got all A's?
Does it have two heads?
It's true.
I'm telling you, my husband does that in the house. It got to a stage that I called him and I told him, see, you need to stop this. Because it puts down the self-confidence. I work in a school, young adults, and it's like that. So we are already giving them that bullying. We're already bullying them at home. We're giving them the emotional blackmail. So they're already feeling, am I that bad? I'm not good enough. And when they go into the world, when they go to work outside, the same thing is happening with them. Then it starts to affect their mental health.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Temi Tokbe. Thank you.
We need to start that from home. Stop bullying this kid.
Yeah.
Praise them
awesome.
9 times, scold them 1 time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another thing we need to work on is having a good communication with them. And what I mean by good communication is listening to them. Not it's being us being talking. Like, I'm talking from experience. I had a situation when my son was 4 years old. he's got speech impairment and he was in school. So he couldn't talk and they were bullying him at school, the teachers. And every day they'll be telling me, oh, he's done this, he's misbehaved, he's done this. I was so angry at one day, you know, I actually told him off right in front of his teacher and his mates. But at night, after having his shower, and I was telling him, oh, you need to be good, you need to be this, you need to do this for me. He now started talking in third person, saying the bad things the teacher was saying about him.
See?
To me, I was really angry. I was ready to go to the school to fight the teacher. Then I spoke to a friend and she told me, oh, don't do that because they will use it against your child.
Mm.
So I just said, okay, no problem. And I got to the school the next day and I called the teacher like, oh, this is actually what my son told me yesterday. And I said everything. You see, I could see the countenance on the teacher's face that, oh, we've been caught. And I said one thing. I didn't say it to the teacher like I know the person that was saying it. And I said, please, if you want to talk about him or any of the kids, can you say it where they can't hear you or his classmates can hear you? I said that. Believe me, you, from that day on, they changed. And they never complained about him anymore. And from that day onward, I started listening more to my kids, which helped me even at church when I become a Sunday school teacher. And do you know what? Most of the things those kids cannot tell the parents, they call me and tell me. And if I tell them out, if I ask them, have you talk to your parents? They will say, oh, auntie, if I tell them, they won't even understand. They will start shouting. They will beat me. So that's one thing we need to do. We have to have good communication with our kids. And with that, if they tell us something and we try to make them see, okay, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, and it's going to work. It's built their self-confidence as well. And if anything is happening outside, they will know that there's someone there. My mom is there, my dad is there.
Exactly.
That I can talk to. And when they talk to you, you know the advice to give them. Instead of them going to friends that will give them a wrong advice or keeping it into themselves, which develop into mental health and they become suicidal or anything. So like I said earlier, charity begins at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just going to quickly say on Facebook, Deborah says, we also need to employ the help of professionals when we spot the struggles children go through. If a child is struggling with anxiety, low confidence, we need to get support. Parents do not always have the expertise to deal with psychological difficulties. Yeah. And that was why, when you notice, when I said, do we have any social workers on here that can answer the questions? Because sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, we do need to rely on the professionals. If I'm sick, I'm definitely going to my doctor. You know, I'm not going to go to Tesco's because Tesco's, Sainsbury's, they can't help me. I need to go to my doctor. It's this, in the same vein, if we have issues with our children and their mental health, please, 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 let's not feel afraid to seek professional help. There's a lot of stigma in our community. It doesn't mean your child is wacko. It doesn't mean, it means your child needs some interventions. And those interventions, these people study, they study for years. And there's a reason why, you know, we ask for you to seek professional help. So as parents, please, please, please let us try and do that. I did say I spotted a king, and I'm going to ask, is that Suleiman, Ubey Suleiman, to unmute, please? There are many queens on the stage today, but I would love Mr. Suleiman. Am I right in saying that is a man?
Yes, I'm a man. Good evening. Good evening, ma.
day.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. Yes, ma'am. I have listened to everything said there, and to be sincere, it got me thinking that I really have a lot of work to do. Because as parents, most times we don't listen to our kids, which I've gotten to understand there. That most times we do the bullying and, hey, sit down, do this, shut up, stand, do that, which is not the right thing to do. And most importantly, we have to understand that we are, as parents, we need to tell our children that they don't need validation from anybody as long as they are doing the right thing. This seeking for validation is one of the challenges we have going on and affecting kids and children now. Most of them think whatever they are doing and their peers are not doing it, even if it's the right thing, they think it's not right because they need validation from those people. So we need to educate them on the needs that self-respect, self-confidence, self-esteem, and not looking for validation from anybody is very, very important in life. And as parents, we've gone through a lot growing up, and those things didn't break us, rather they make us stronger.
Oh yeah.
Same way we should talk to them also to grow up, let them know. But one thing I've learned very important here that I have not been doing one of the things I need to do, listening. I have a 3 years old son. Most times when you talk, I say, sit down, you're disturbing again. I just realized that I need to give him time to listen to him. Even when what he's saying is not making sense, I need to let him know that this is what is right. Not shouting and telling him, stop that, do that. I need to tell him, this is why you shouldn't do this, and this is why you should do that. Have confidence in yourself. Don't seek validation. Believe in yourself and morally upright. Whatever you are doing, as long as it is morally upright, you don't need any approval from anybody. Do it and you succeed. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. And let me add this, Mr. Suleiman. It's gone. It's King Suleiman. I want you to help us tell our people back at home, the parents, that they should change the narrative of eye contact when they are dealing with their children. Don't look at my face. Tell them, look at my face straight into my eyes. Let them know back at home. It's very, very important because they see you that you're a liar, that you don't have confidence. If you don't look at people's eyes back in diaspora, they see you a lack of self-confidence as a liars as well. Let people know back at home.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am a living confident example of that. I had the opportunity for an interview process because I was not looking at the embassy officer to his face, and I wasn't lying. But at the end of the day, he told me, no, I'm not sure you are saying the right thing. Even when trying to convince him, he said, you were not looking at my face. You were looking somewhere else. So with that, we've got to learn a lot. And thank you very much for this opportunity to learn further. I'm very grateful.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for coming out and speaking your truth. This is the essence of, us uniting, us coming together as a community, because we learn so much from each other. And I'm so happy that you've, come out and said what you said. I don't know where you are, whether I think you're in Nigeria. So you can be the 4G's Kings and Queens advocate in Nigeria, because you've spoken like a true king. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm most grateful. Thank you very much.
Wow. You know what? Everybody that comes on knows that once it's 8 o'clock, I'm ready to go. Right now, I think I can stay here till 10 o'clock because this has just been so amazing. But what we'd need to let you all know is we are going to be in Ireland for the next 2 weeks. Is that right, Yem?
Yes, we are.
So please, guys, we want to build this community. We've got Meanda on here, who is from South Africa. She's not from South Africa. She's an African, and she's my sister. For those of you who know or may not know, I am Igbo, okay? But hey, guess what? I'm not. I'm an African, okay? We need to, and I love what you said, Meanda, we need to stop that, It doesn't matter where you're from. It's that 1884, they deceived us. And that's why we call ourselves, you're this, you're that. No, we're all African. That's all we are. Yeah. We need to get this community right. We need to fix ourselves. We can fix ourselves. We've got some amazing, amazing, amazing human beings in the African continent. We are intelligent. We are beautiful. You know, we are resourceful. We are everything. But what we are doing is we are shooting ourselves in the foot by not uniting. This is the beginning of the process to that unity. So I want to thank everybody. Before I ask you all to unmute, it's 8:12. It's not a problem. Like I said, I'm in a really good mood today. I'm going to ask us all to unmute ourselves. And the reason being, if you've got background noise, please don't unmute, only because this is recording. So we'd like it to be a bit pretty and nice. But, you know, just want to say thank you to all of you. And please, we will be back with you next week. Omoti, I have seen Kings and Queens on Facebook. You guys are like 500 members. I want all of them on Zoom. Spread the word. It's been amazing. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I'm going to ask my boss if the budget is going to be able to stretch for us one day to fly down to do a live Zoom from Europe. As director of programs, I think I can sign that off.
You're the boss now.
No, you know, I always, you know, we've got an amazing team on here. Adebola, Marcia, who is our director for youth engagement. Marcia couldn't be here today. And then you've got Deborah, who has been rolling like she rolls on Facebook, and obviously our boss here. And we've got a very quiet human being. Lekon, can you unmute, please? Lekon, all the way from Abuja. I don't know if he's actually there.
He's dropped off.
He's dropped off. So that's the team. That's our Saffron team. We really.
I'm here.
Ekon.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. The stage is yours. You've got some of our kings and queens who are signing in from Nigeria, the same way you are signing in. You need to join the stage. You need to join the 4Gs Kings and Queens. It's an amazing platform. We'll get you on there shortly. But it's just, we just wanted to acknowledge you as part of the family, because you are. So yeah, you're welcome, Lekon. You're welcome. So please, everybody, we will be back next week, same time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. What I would implore is that we share. We share because, you see, there are parents out there that need this more than us. You know, there are parents out there who are probably tearing their hair at the moment thinking, how can I do this? There's a pertinent question you asked, Omoti. How can we prepare our children? That has stuck in. I had goosebumps when you asked, because I work a lot with the youth as well. And it is a problem. It's not a problem. Like Yemi said, these are issues. These are issues that have solutions. But the only way we can figure them out is when we come together as a community. So on behalf of Saffron, I want to say a big thank you to yourself, Omoti, and the 4Gs, Kings and Queens, for even allowing this to happen, because you guys could have said no, but you didn't. And your family already, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so
Please,
much.
let's be back next week, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, Wednesday. I can't tell you the date. My brain doesn't stretch that far, but we are here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we will be back with 4Gs, Kings and Queens. Thank you to all of you who have contributed today. You guys have all been amazing. You know, you guys are just crazily amazing. I'm so happy. I love meeting you people, and I can come to Ireland now. I don't need to book a hotel because I know that I've got a house. I've got a room in every, and if you guys come to London, yeah, you guys come to, that's the essence. You know, you guys come to London, there's a room in my home for any one of you that comes, you know, and I'm sure if you go to where Yemi is, the same. And that is what the spirit, there's no point going to church if we can't help ourselves outside of the four walls.
Exactly.
That's the essence of the love of God. We've got to spread it. So thank you all. I love you all. And I'm going to hand over to my boss to close the show. Yeah. Okay. Over to you.
Okay. Oh wow. That date you were looking for, Geese, is the 7th of
Thank you.
July.
Thank you. Thank you, darling. I
So
knew
on the
you would.
7th of July next week, 6 p.m. Please join the conversation. Join us on the platform, on Zoom, and also live on Facebook. If you would have a YouTube, if you're able to connect to YouTube, our YouTube channel is just SaffronSACAP. You find us there. All the recording goes on there. All the previous recordings go on there. When we're talking about this, looking at the millennials, looking at we had programs on identity, was that something about youth, young people and identity,
Black identity.
the
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
identity. Please go back and listen to them because they were really, really mind blowing. And it might just help us to then inform the discussion next week. Um, Aside from that, I just want to say thank you everyone for joining us. It's just been a mind-blowing evening. I think Mr. Suleiman just, he just crowned the whole evening. He definitely is the king with the crown on his head. So I actually said to our director, I said, can we just end with Mr. Suleiman because this man has just blown the fish out of the waters. So yes, thank you so much. I'm going to go back and listen to what he said, because he said some things that we need to capture. He
Yeah.
said that he really pointed out some home truths to us. This eye contact thing was one of the main issues that stopped Victoria Colombier. If you don't know that story, Victoria Colombier was one of the main reasons, and a couple more after her, and maybe a couple before, that enforced or decided the safeguarding agenda, why we had to have a review of the way we work and move from just going on child protection to safeguarding children, protecting them, preventing them from harm. But Victoria was in the face of professionals more often than one, and the fact that she was not looking them in the face, looking them in the eye, it spelled so many wrong things for them that we had to start looking at professional competence, cultural competence around working with children and families. That's a different topic altogether, and I'm definitely not in a classroom this evening. But I just wanted to point out that these are issues that stare us in the face in safeguarding, in social care every day, every day. So when we are not addressing it, our children are on the back foot when they are out in the open. They're open to the elements, things thrown at them left, right, and center. And we have a lot of work to do at home. But if we do not recognize them, as King Suleiman has pointed out, if we do not recognize them, then how do we begin to address them? How do we begin to prepare these children for the world outside? Let's get back next week and start to discuss this because we will be pulling out points that have stood out from here and we will address those first and foremost next week. So have a lovely weekend, have a lovely time, and God bless. Keep us all safe and well.
And just one last thing before we go, for those of you, today was the last day for the EU settlement scheme. Today was the last day. And as you all know, we collaborate with the UK Home Office engagement team every third Saturday of the month. So today was the last day. If there are any amendments, which there haven't been announced, SaffronSACAP will obviously be told, and we will be spreading that news out there. What we will encourage you to do is to join us on the 19th of July, I think it is.
On the 17th of July. It's the third Saturday. It's the 17th of July.
17th of July, which is the third Saturday of the month, where we will be sitting down like this in a Zoom with the UK Home Office immigration engagement team. And this is something we do because we found that there was a need for this within our community. So that was one thing I wanted to share for those of you in Ireland. It's about information. It's about hearing from the right source. And most of all, it's about us bridging the gap within the community, which is SaffronSACAP's main aim. So thank you all once again. And thank you to all of those of you who have joined us for your first time. Like I said, when I started, when I welcomed you, that you are now family. And when you come into Saffron's family, I don't let you go. So hope to see you all next week. Please share, invite the rest of the family, and let's come again and talk about these things, and let's try and work our way forward and build the community we need to build. Have a good evening, everybody. Please stay safe wherever you are around the world. It's been a pleasure, and it's good night from the whole team and SaffronSACAP voiceover. Thank you, Kings.
And
God bless.
Amati, please leave a message for your group. Sorry.
I will, sure.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.